Hey, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's your day so far?
Yeah, pretty good. What's up? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's start our video. There we go. We're coming. We're coming in. There we go.
Hey guys, good to see you. Good to see you.
There you go, man.
So you, so your day went well so far?
Well, so far so good. Yeah, we've got a few more sort of lockdowns happening at the moment in Brisbane, so kind of just dealing with that. But other than that, nah, going pretty swimmingly at this
Okay.
point. How about yourself?
Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. So, guys, so last month you guys released your single Alpha. So could you tell
Right.
me a bit about the songwriting and the production behind this single?
Do you want to take care of the songwriting part? Yeah. So um, with Alpha, we had like a really cool riff, which was like the riff that you hear at the beginning, and then we sort of it's one of them riffs where if you're not careful, you can write yourself into a corner with it.
Mhm.
There's not really so much you can do with it, so we sort of treated it like an old like hardcore song where you just do variations of the riff pretty much,
Yeah.
and that's how we sort of put it together musically. Um, Lyrically, it was based off the myth of Fenrir. He's like the giant wolf that eats Odin at the end of Ragnarok. Um, but we just took that and applied like a bigger metaphor where it's about sort of fighting back against anything that's holding you down essentially.
Yes, sounds good. Sounds good. And is there any plan for you guys to come up with another studio album that goes along with this single?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, we're in the process of writing and recording an album at the moment,
Mhm.
but because we just kind of wanted to put something out there that kind of encapsulates what we're going for, um, felt like, and plus also to kind of just build some momentum as well, because you kind of get stuck in the writing and recording phase and kind of lose a little bit of focus, lose a bit of drive, that sort of thing. So we found that just like releasing a single is a good way of, first of all, just kind of putting something out that says, right, here's what to expect, but also to kind of like help us kind of build up a bit more momentum, kind of get back in there and
Yeah,
focus on it, do what we need to do essentially. So yeah, that's pretty much how we went with that.
sounds good. And this song is kind of more powerful and pretty good musicianship involved in it. And how do you guys feel about the outcome? And what was the response from the fans?
Well, I feel pretty good about it. So, but if I didn't, then we'd probably have a serious problem. Um, I I really dig the song because our previous single was probably a bit more. Um, I don't know. As far as songwriting goes, it's a bit more interesting. There's a bit more going on. But with this one, I feel like it's a bit more refined, a bit more focused, a bit more like it really has a few elements to the song, like that hard driving riff at the start, but it really kind of plays on that and emphasizes just that kind of beat, that rhythm, that groove. It doesn't try to be too complicated. It doesn't try to do too much with it. But the fact that we can have like the essence of the song and kind of really just build on top of that, that's what I really like about this one. Like it's simple,
Yeah,
definitely a lot more simple than what we have done in the past, but simple songs, a lot more catchy, and you can build on them because they're structurally a lot more sound that way as well.
yeah,
I think as far as like the response from the fans go, it's been you know overwhelmingly positive. Everybody has sort of dug what we put out there, and we're pretty happy with that. We put a lot of time and effort into it, especially with the film clip that accompanied it. Yeah, so we're happy that everybody thought that was cool, pretty much. Yeah.
yeah. And talking about the music you've been doing, like, so people who have been following a Somerset Parade from the beginning would have noticed a lot of changes in terms of musicianship as well as vocally. So what made you guys to move from that earlier stages of the band to a newer sound version of the band?
Well, I think, well, the biggest part was like a change in members. So our like chief songwriter, um, he was very pop punk sort of influenced. And when the band was kind of formed, that's what the makeup of the band was. Like before Dan and I even joined the band, it was a pop punk band, like A Day to Remember. That's what they wanted to do. But then like we got added to the band, and then like members came, members left.
Yeah.
So just naturally, it's kind of just shifted just with the change of the members, but also just like how we all work together. Like it's just how it's naturally kind of evolved. And there hasn't been like a specific time where we've all sat down and gone, all right, guys, we really need to move in this sort of direction or that. Like it's just naturally kind of happened that way. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it there.
Sounds good. And there'll be a lot of people who may not know the Somerset Parade. So would you like to tell a bit about how it all started for you guys?
I mean, for me specifically, I basically answered, like I think it was a Facebook ad in one of the Facebook groups looking for a singer, and yeah, basically these blokes, they put me through the ringer. I had to like audition. They didn't tell me I was in the band for ages. Like I think we were recording the EP when I finally found out that I was in the band. So they're a bit, cheeky in that manner. And then, I mean, from there, like Andrew, he joined at the same time. We both had to do like the same audition.
I found out way earlier. I was in the band, by the way.
But yeah, then I mean, we did an EP, we did an album. We've had a few lineup changes since then. I mean, we've sort of solidified into like the four of us now. So myself, Andrew, Mitch, and Brad. We have one of our good mates, Kurt, who plays in the band called the Silencio. He comes and plays drums for us because he's a nice guy. That's
a good drummer too.
Yeah,
it's handy.
It helps that he's a good drummer.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And Australia has a history of having great bands over the years. So we had great bands like the AC/DC, Nexus, a lot of other bands. So how is the rock scene currently in Australia?
If you're going to compare us to AC/DC, I'll just run with that. Yeah, like the stadium tours are going really well.
Sorry, I was just gonna say. I think it's like pretty healthy. I mean, we've got bands like Polaris and North Lane in the heavy music scene that are like kicking goals left, right, and centre. So I think heavy music within Australia is doing pretty well at the moment.
And like you've just got that new Parkway Drive documentary as well. We watched that the other day. Actually, it's hard not to be kind of like a bit inspired and kind of light a fire under when you see stuff like Aussie bands kind of making it to that sort of level and doing it so well on a consistent basis. So I think from the top down, the scene's pretty healthy over here, and everyone's pretty cool.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And can you tell me how the musical journey has been for you guys so far?
Oh, the musical journey. Wow. I should really play this up. I should really over dramatize this. Well, how far back would you like me to go back to when I was learning to play guitar, or? Because I can go all the way back. Well, I don't know. Like we've done some pretty cool stuff as like a pretty small sort of local Brisbane band. We've kicked some pretty cool goals. Like we've done some cool support slots for bands that we've always looked up to in high school and as kids. Like Unwritten Law was a huge support slot for all of us. Like that was a band that kind of shaped who we were as musicians and like how we look at music and what we enjoy. So playing for bands like that has been awesome. But then also doing a tour over in Europe kind of like bands in Australia. Going to Europe's a pretty far sort of distance. So that organise all that, have it all come together. That was like every like high school boy's dream was to go to a foreign country and kind of come back in one piece. So look, we've had an amazing time. We're still kicking goals, and the journey keeps ticking on.
Sounds good. And moving forward, what will be the next plans for the band?
Well, in the immediate future, hopefully, if COVID gets knocked on the head, we'll play a single release show for Alpha. It's going to be at one of our favourite places to play, a place called Finish Dive on the Gold Coast. We like that joint. We love the owners. They like us. I mean, they let us do pretty much what we want, which is one of the best things about it. But yeah, just being able to break out the new banners you can see here and the new merch, and just catch up with all the people that we sort of haven't seen because of COVID, and actually play some live music and get it all out. That's the most immediate thing. And I mean, further down the track, we'll be looking at releasing, I guess, hopefully another single before the end of the year, and then maybe next year, hopefully getting the album out. That's pretty much it.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And would you like to share some of the great, crazy moments that you guys had over the years?
Crazy moments. I think most of them were probably in Europe.
Yeah. We need to think ones that are
got to put the filter on.
Yeah, ones that are PG.
Yeah. I suppose we could. There was a venue in Ukraine that we turned up to play. That seemed, innocent enough until we found out later in the night that it was most probably, definitely, kind of under the watchful eye of the Banditos. So that was a fun sort of night to be under their sort of watch in a foreign country, not speaking the language.
They were lovely people.
Oh, amazing people. Yeah. Extremely friendly, but still kind of a bit unnerving when you can't really communicate to them all that well, and just smile and nod. That's essentially how you get by.
And then there was our last show in Austria at the end of the tour. We played this club, and basically we just had so many, because everybody gives you drinks. Buys you drinks, they're so cheap, so we had them all stacked all around the stage. And as the set went on, more and more of these drinks got knocked over, and basically there was pedals and tuners floating on the stage because of all the alcohol that we tipped over. That was a pretty crazy old evening.
Yeah, that was a wild night. And they like to do beers by the litre. Yeah. So if you knock a beer over, that's a substantial amount of liquid.
Interesting. And I know there is a lot of restrictions in your country right now, but do you guys foresee any touring coming up in the near future?
Within Australia, maybe, but I would have been more confident in saying yes to that if it wasn't for this most recent lockdown. But within Australia, it has been pretty good, and up until recently, there's actually been some pretty decent shows happening internationally. Who really knows? But we're not even considering that at this point. We will plan to tour Japan in 2020, actually in October. We had it all organised at the start of the year. Obviously COVID happened, and we haven't really considered touring since. So we've just been kind of focusing on writing, which is what most bands are kind of doing at this point, I think.
Sounds good. And I know you guys have changed from a lot of genres recently. So in the future, would you be trying or experimenting more new things into the band?
Never say no.
Yeah, no. with Brad's our bass player, his favorite band at the moment is that Eskimo Call Boy with that Hyper Hyper song. Have you heard that one? Yeah, that's sort of like a mix of like heavy and like I don't know, electro.
Basically, there's a remix album for one song that basically ticks every single genre along the way. So the fact that he loves basically that song spread across so many genres, yeah, I wouldn't rule out like a country album at this point. So, and especially if we can't like tour or do anything, like we might just get bored and just don the hat and the stirrups and just embrace it. Who knows? Yeah.
Cabin fever will do weird things to people, man.
It is, yeah.
Sounds good. And finally, do you have a message for the fans around the world?
One message. All right, one message.
I think it should involve the word thank you. That's probably a good start.
That's a very, very good point. I like thank you.
Yeah.
Well, basically, anyone who's ever like checked out any of our film clips, clicked on a link, listened to us, bought merch, supported us, our parent, whoever, a very sincere thank you. Like we've done some amazing stuff up until this point. Future's looking bright. We couldn't thank you guys enough. So we're really looking forward to what we can do in the future. But hopefully everyone kind of comes along for the ride with us.
Sounds good. And thank you guys for having this interview today. And it is really a pleasure to see you guys and talk to you today. Thank you so much.
That's been fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, man.
You have a great evening out there. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.